Hello everyone, Zelrant here, and I've seen some more information now coming out about Robella and her entire patch. Now, I kind of jumped the gun, I guess, a little bit on it, because last night we had the initial part of her kit come out. It was not posted on the news yet, but now it is actually out here on the CN Girls Frontline 2 news. If you want to see that, you can either go to the official Discord or mine and just click on CN Girls Frontline 2 news. And you'll get her entire kit here, but that's not what we're actually going to talk about today. We'll touch on it a little bit when we look at some of the other stuff here. But the big reason I wanted to actually look at now is we actually have her weapon as well as the expansion keys for Nemesis and Suomi, as well as a skin that they have shown. So I thought we'd just take a look at a couple things there. And there's a little bit of other couple announcements I don't think they actually really mentioned, but it's in a video. But the first thing I wanted to look at was the weapon, which is here now. She has Wanderer's Ballad, which is a high-powered SMG for her. And so it has... Now, this actually looks like it would be good on some other AR users, but even though she's an AR user, just know that it's an SMG. So if you're thinking about it can be applying to anyone else, you just got to remember it applies to SMG users. So you could actually... This actually might be decent on a Suomi if you wanted to make a damage-dealing Suomi, because when you look at this Calm Appraisal stat on here, increases freeze damage, and then after launching an out-of-turn attack, boosts the damage of the user's subsequent out-of-turn attacks. So we already know that the big thing with this is we know that she does out-of-turn attacks with her skill 1, where she puts that resonant link on your teammates, which causes them to put this debuff Deep Insight on the enemy, and then at the end of the enemy's turn, Robella will do Frost Invasion, which will be a damage. And now Deep Insight stacks, so I'm guessing the more you can stack it, the more damage that you can do with Frost Invasion. And though and your rotation is going to be constantly cycling through, that's going to be how she's going to do damage. Because we know she's a DPS because she's a Sentinel. A lot of people are saying she looks like a support based on all of her stuff. But my suspicion is she's going to be doing a lot of damage with this. So she's going to be very dependent on the ice team. But I think that is going to be her core of her damage. And you can kind of see that in her weapon. I could be wrong. That's just my guess, though. But this is basically going to make it, if you have her weapon, depending on how big this boost is, it might be a substantial increased damage to that skill right there, which I think is going to be like kind of core part of her entire damage, because the rest of her kit is kind of supportive in nature. So you have that, and then you have at the start of turn, if the user's HP is full, gain a random buff. And we're about to see with Suomi's expansion key, their HP shouldn't be touched at all. Suomi's expansion key actually has quite a bit of stuff in it, but this is going to be something that should pretty much always be true with Robella. You should basically be at full HP unless she immediately takes a hit, but as soon as her turn comes, you'll see why. It's crazy what they've done on how much sustain Suomi has. So we have that. Now, this is all the stuff that that's coming out with this mode, and theirs is coming out April 15th, and it's going to go all the way to May 6th. So they have the outfit for her. They have a new Vectors outfit, which we'll take a look at here in a second. They have the mini games. We've already seen those mini games. They're 10 axes, Gunsmoke, remodeling pattern related items. So they've added more stuff to Gunsmoke Frontlines. That's going to be good, because one thing is that Gunsmoke rewards over time. You're eventually going to be able to buy out the shop, and you already have Papa Shaw maxed out, so you're going to have more uses for that. So it's good that they're adding stuff there. Oath is now available for Robella and Jianzhu. Jianzhu is going to be unit, surprisingly, though. A lot of people are going to end up skipping, but they're going to add the Oath, it looks like, to her, so that's going to be a good one for those that like her. But this is the big one that I wanted to get to here, the expansion key. So we can go first with Nemesis. It does not give us like any details on Nemesis at all, but it says Prophecy of Demise. At the start of each turn, inflicts Prophecy of Mourning to the enemy with the highest HP in range. That's it. We do not know what Prophecy of Mourning is, unless that's something that's already in the game that I can't think of, but it inflicts whatever this is to the enemy. It's going to be some form of debuff. I have no idea what it is. Maybe it's going to be something good for Corrosion, seeing as she is a Corrosion unit. But we'll just kind of have to see. Hopefully that brings her back into value to some extent. But that's all hers is. But the big one is going to be Suomi's here, rocking Eldwise. So this one has a lot of multi-part. Like some of the best the expansion keys have been the ones that have like multiple things attached to them. So Suomi's has a little bit of everything in her. So the first one is damage dealt by action support. As you know, she has action support in her kit. it is converted to freeze damage. So now she does freeze damage. So she takes advantage of all the freeze plus buffs. So she might actually do some decent damage. She's a support, so it's nothing crazy, but she at least gets to tank advantage of that. And anything that requires ice damage to trigger effects now is good here. It's just like Shangju and Shakri and them converting their support actions to burn makes it where they can take advantage of vectors buffs to burn. That's going to be the same thing for Suomi regarding freeze if there's anything that requires freeze to trigger conditions. So that's great there. But then you have the second part. When allied units have frost barrier, freeze damage is increased by 15%. So pretty big, substantial damage there for freeze damage as well. And you're going to see she already has really great shields that she can put on your teammates with her ultimate. But it gets even crazier here. At the start of turn, restores 4 points of stability. So she's going to get 4 points of stability just like that. So it makes her even more tanky there. But then this third one here. Before an allied unit launches their attacks, if they do not have Frost Barrier, Suomi will immediately apply Frost Barrier to them, lasting 2 turns. The shield absorbs damage equal to 60% of Suomi's initial attack, but cannot exceed 100% of the target's max HP. Like, this is insane. This basically... I'm wondering if there's a limit to this that it doesn't say here. Maybe when we get the numbers, there's going to be like a limit to how much this can be used. But this is basically saying she doesn't even need... If you only have V0, you don't even really need to use her ultimate. I mean, because her ultimate's going to heal at V1, like a substantial amount. But this is making it sound like your allies are just going to get a shield immediately upon attacking. And so Suomi doesn't need to apply her ultimate unless you're wanting to top it up or something. So that is pretty massive there, because then that lets her kind of focus her other skills there. And that actually brings some value to V0 a little bit more, because one thing I've noticed with V1 is I almost never use her skill 2 that has like the heal and little mini shield there. So that make it where you're more likely to want to kind of alternate between those. So that one's pretty huge, just massive tankiness to it. And with being able to apply that frost barrier, that's why I'm saying this freeze damage dealt is increased by 15% when they have frost barrier. This says before they launch an attack, they get that frost barrier. So that means if they're doing freeze damage, they're basically effectively always getting this 15% damage increase as well. So that one's huge there. And then you have the last part here. When using the ultimate skill, Snowfield's Radiance inflicts Ice Seal, which was an unknown effect at this point, but it's on the enemy that lasts 2 turns. We don't know what that effect is, so who knows what it's going to be, but it's going to be a debuff, it sounds. And, I mean, Ice Seal makes me think it's like a movement stopping type ability. We'll have to see. Hopefully it's something that like increases ice damage or something. But just another little debuff there, so a little bit extra on top there. We'll see what that is. But overall, I do like the expansion key. It just makes her give Freeze Team even more damage. And then, I mean, if you're one of those people that went all the way to V2 Suomi, because V2 Suomi gives the freeze plus freeze damage as well, you're actually making it where ice can do substantial damage. It's just gonna have to see how much Robella can actually do with this frost invasion, because that paired with Macchiato is making the ice team look really, really good. And I know ice is what a lot of people on global are invested in, because they were our first 2 units with Suomi and Macchiato. So this is actually looking really, really good for us. So we have that. Then you have this last announcement down here. I don't think this was announced in their original live stream for their entire the entire 2-parter for this, but you just have a new skin for Vector here. And you can kind of see it's like a schoolgirl outfit. They just gave a free bunny girl one away for her, but now this is the paid one. Now, the nice thing with this one is, as you can kind of see, there's some differences on it. It's going to be module, so it looks like all of their future skins are going to be module in some capacity. So like this one has cat ears and all that. So you're going to be able to change things up. Oh yeah, you can change like the legs and all that there. So yeah, they're making all of a module in that way, and then it has different things in the dorms. And that's kind of funny. She's in that, but she just has them attached to her arm there on the outfit. But that's pretty much everything there. That's the skin. There was one other thing that's in this video. Now, I think this was shown in their live stream, but I thought we'd take a look at it. It does show some of, let's see here. I mean, it gives all the showcases for Robella in this video. And I mean, I don't think we've seen this stuff yet, but we can take a look at, like, I mean, she's heavily censored, so you know that part's all going to be good with this skin. It's showing a lot more than that they're not long. And they have Leva on the pictures there. But for those that like those kinds of skins, but I think we'd seen that. And then you have the new dorm pose related to this, playing a little, kind of looks like Doom to me, but it's a one where she's shooting them with her microphone, I guess. Then you got this pose, whatever that one is. But they're not really being able to show much with the skin with all the sensors they have to put on there. But then it has vectors here. Yeah, just showing how it's module on her there. I mean, it's the same action she does with their normal one, just the new skin. It is hilarious, the temporary, like, big sensor there. They don't even let you pause it to look. But you can see a little bit there. You get a little glance there. They missed a spot. There's pretty much that. But that is the skins there. New weapons skins. That one looks pretty cool. That one I really like. I like the whole, it kind of has that racing aesthetic. I will almost certainly get that for SMG users. And then, yeah, that's her weapon. There's the event. So this is just like, this is a two-parter like the previous one. The Monopoly game's coming back for them. Some more modes being added. Just another game mode to that. But the big thing that I wanted to show, it's the very end here, I think. Where is it? It's just showing some more gameplay of her. The rewards that you can now covenant them. Where is this thing? Oh, it's right here. Yeah, it's the very end. So this is the one where you use those chips on that I'm telling everybody save them. Do not buy the weapons with. And this is that shop that it's showing here. It doesn't show the tip top, but it does show the weapons, I believe. So these ones are skins. So what's really nice about this is if you've missed a skin from any of the events or any of that, they are going to be available in the shop. Like I've seen a couple of these skins we actually already have. I believe we have some of this flavor of this skin and that. So I believe we have this one as well. But any missed skins look to be like they're going to be added to the shop. We already know there's going to be polls in the shop. And I mean, yeah, we have this one. This was like in the very first event. And you can see just for 30 of those, you can get this skin if it's something you really want. Yeah, you got a couple of these that have been in past events. So it's all going to at least be available in the future when we get that update. And so I really like that as well. I think that's part of this update for them is that new stuff added to the shop. So just like I said, make sure to save those because they're going to have more value than just buying the standard weapons. Not only can you get poles, but you can also get missed skins or other things that they decide to throw in that shop. Just make sure to save them until you actually need them. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you like my content, if you like, comment, subscribe, it really helps. And thanks for watching.